For once on our Ask Anna Fridays. I had a question in the app that I wanted to go over. One of the clients said she's been working on pull-ups, been working on the pull-up holds where you jump your chin over the bar and you hold, but she said she's having a really hard time feeling like she needs to pee when she does that. That's a really common reaction to tension and pushing down, whether you're jumping, whether you're running, whether you're holding a really heavy weight, whether you're picking something heavy up off the ground. If our diaphragmatic response is to push downward, it's always going to create that urge of needing to pee. The most common reason for that is that we lose our position. So I always think like this is our lids. We have lids on our rib cage, lids on our hip bones, and we have to hold them connected. Like I have a piece of string from here, mid-chest to my pubic bone basically, and I don't want to stretch that piece of tape or that string. These two lids have to stay on top of each other. When this lid stays on top of this lid, when we breathe, the pelvic floor eccentrically contracts against the diaphragm and they work in union. If I separate these lids, now the pelvic floor doesn't have any sort of suction to be able to maintain stability with, and we lose it, or we lose access to controlling it. So my first assumption is going to be we might be losing position when we're holding a pull-up hold, or we're doing some sort of exercise like jumping. When we jump, we extend and jump and extend, and our pelvis floor drops and our rib cage raises. If we keep these two together and keep the strings attached, then you won't have that happen. So one of the things I wanted to show you was if you come up here, I will do these chin-up holds with support. So first would be like if you put your feet on a band or you put your feet on a bar and you're holding that as much as you can in your arms, but you're working on getting out of this extended position, pulling my pelvis underneath and holding that position with a little bit of support from my feet. This allows you to feel what it feels like, what it should feel like to hang without our hip bones pointing towards the floor. We want to tuck our pubic bone towards our belly button and hold those lids in mind so that when we hang, now we can access and control our pelvic floor. So this would be one. The progression from here then is to do 1 foot, then the progression is to eventually go where you can hold 2. And the idea with holding your knees up is that it makes it easier to control your lower abdominal wall and your pelvic floor. If we let our feet hang down, it's extremely hard to get out of this extended position. If I bend my knees, kind of like we do with dead bug, now I can pull my pelvis underneath and maintain a much more neutral spine and low back. So this would be the third progression. The last piece of that is we want to make sure that we're not holding our breath. If we're holding our breath, that's going to pull the diaphragm up and again, disallow us from using the pelvic floor or the lower abdominal muscles. So breathe into your belly so that your low back doesn't create tension and tightness, and then again, disallow the diaphragm. So 2 things, get in good position, ribs over hips. We don't want our ribs and hips pointed away from each other. We want them stacked right over the top. 2, try not to hold your breath. Breathe through the belly. Short sipping breaths. That's going to allow you to access the core and stay in a good position while you're doing that. Same concepts apply to jumping. Same concepts apply to picking up weight off the floor. When we're jumping, we want to make sure that we're kind of in a knee softened position and we can maintain our ribs over our hips as opposed to jumping and extending, jumping and extending. When we maintain these positions, we can also stay in the balls of the feet and jump a lot smoother as opposed to jumping, landing, jumping, landing. The typical reason for that is that we're trying to jump with our upper body instead of jumping by pushing our feet into the floor and landing. This is jumping with my upper body. This is jumping with my legs. So push the floor away as you jump, and that's going to allow you to stay stacked and not disassociate, which is going to allow you to maintain pelvic floor activation as well. So hopefully that answers your guys' questions for today. Let me know if you have any others. I'll check back in later if I need to answer a few more. Have a great Friday, and we'll see you.